thanks for joining me for Life in Surround. It's time for another blind date. Today I'm going to sit down and listen to Santana III in quad for the first time. I'm here at Quad Station, about to fire up my quadraphonic amp via my surround processor, and I'm going to play Santana III from SACD through my Oppo BDP 103. And just a word about this series from Sony Japan. They've been releasing classic quads in this lush 7-inch packaging, just exquisitely done, often foil coated, very faithful artwork rendition to the original, including gatefolds, inserts, posters, and bang up job on mastering, sound quality. If there were previous errors with mixer master, like swapped channels or something out of phase, they don't always catch that. In fact, I'm not sure they ever do. But they are being faithful to earlier Sony releases. As far as I know, Santana III doesn't have any phase or channel problems, and people who have owned the SQ LP and other versions, other analog versions, have stated relative lack of bottom end, but that this release does bring a pleasant bottom end. So I'm hoping that's the case. I know that I love the music from this album. I have become familiar with it in stereo via my streaming service of choice. But this will be my first time sitting and listening to this Sony Japan quad SACD of Santana III. And without further ado, let's do this, and I'll be back shortly. Alright, so I'm back from my blind date with Santana III in quad. And I have to say, just right off the bat, that it was a very pleasant experience. This quad album was able to draw me ever more deeper into the material, and it is fantastic material indeed. This is the third Santana album, and it is the third Santana quad release of late from Sony Japan. Already, fans are pining for Caravanserai. Okay, so how does this stack up mix-wise, sound-wise, and packaging-wise, value-wise? I do understand where some people are coming from with a bit of a bass-shy sound. I would just say that having sat in between 4 full-range speakers with adequate power, that there are a couple of passages where the mix feels top heavy, and I could have used a bit more bass punch for my taste, but in general most of the tracks really deliver the bass power that I'm looking for. I noted that the mix engineers didn't really sit the bass guitar in any one spot track for track. Sometimes it is in the rear left, sometimes it's centered up front, and so some tracks feel a bit more robust on the bottom end than others, and I think that could be a factor, that they just didn't set it and forget it. But oh man, in general, this is sonically pretty amazing. You have everything from organ, piano, drums, all kinds of percussion, horns, vocals, bass guitar, electric guitars. I think I even heard some acoustics in there, but don't quote me unless I'm right. Let's look at this packaging a little bit. Like I said, Sony Japan, pretty faithful with offering up the posters. Got your OB strip and a little plastic sleeve to protect everything with. You have their booklets are usually like full Japanese from my experience, but here you get a nice band photo, and gladly the lyrics for the album are reproduced in Japanese and English, so I found that to be, well, and Spanish, so I found that to be pretty helpful. Helped me engage in the music even more. And then, like I said, sometimes their inserts are really cool in and of themselves. Like this is a SQ quadraphonic advert on one side, and then an explanation of SQ on the other side for those who are uninitiated. 4 channels of sound. Yeah, so as I alluded to a moment ago, we already have the debut Santana 1 released in this format. We have Abraxas now. We have Santana 3. Folks are hoping for Caravanserai. And shoot, from Dutton-vocalion we also have this like Santana Buddy Miles like concert SACD. And then in DVD audio we have some of the later Santana albums. Supernatural. So that's kind of a quick rundown on Santana in surround. And you know, I just gotta say, like Santana 3, oh my goodness. Starts off with that, you know, very Latin feeling with the lead-off track, Batuka, No One to Depend On, you know, a verifiable hit to my ears. I wasn't around at the time. Should have been a hit. Very good vocal follow-up with Taboo. An exquisite instrumental with Toussaint L'Ouverture. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Everybody's Everything features like discrete enough, I mean like unique horns in all 4 corners of the room. Like, you know, horn harmonies all around you. It's pretty great. Maybe this is discrete now, like it was a SQ mix, but maybe on Super Audio CD it is discrete. Someone leave a comment below if you are authoritative on that. Separation on this just sounded amazing. Like you tended to have like unique percussion parts all around, and then like I said, for Everybody's Everything you have unique horn parts all around. Guitar parts tended to be up front. Vocal parts tended to be up front. Bass could migrate, sometimes in the rear left, sometimes up in front of you. Main drum kit tended to be in the rear right, but sometimes there was active panning as well, and that tended to be percussive parts. I love the use of rattle slap on Guajira. And that may be my standout track. I mean, it not only has this absolutely infectious piano line, but it uses rattle slap. And you all know how much I love that instrument. I honestly, sincerely do. It's not a gag. I love rattle slap. And also a pretty searing guitar part. Guajira pretty much has it all. There's a pretty searing guitar part on Toussaint L'Ouverture. And again, sorry if I mispronounced that. I'm not even sure if I pronounced it the same way twice. Who knows? And then really surprising pop sensibility on Everything's Coming Our Way. Wow. Feels like that could have really been written by more of like a pop band, like maybe the Byrds. And they just really kill it, and then they bring it home, bookending the album with, you know, really classic Latin dancing vibes with Para los Rumberos. And man, oh my gosh, this is everything I want in a Santana album. Get just exquisite, crazy, active, fun percussion, great guitar work, some frenetic organ work. You get some mellowness, you get some energy, you get the full ride, and better than ever sound from this SACD release. from Sony Japan, so no more relying on clicky and skippy old LPs. And I think this also was probably released on Q8, but don't quote me unless I'm right. But anyway, we have Santana III now from Sony Japan, quadraphonic SACD, and I am among those who am now just waiting for Caravanserai, and I'm just totally in love with the fact that classic Santana has seen optical release SACD format for these classic quadraphonic albums. Such worthy music, and just helps to really draw you deeper in to this exquisite material, exquisite packaging. I hope that this has been a pleasant blind date for you. It sure was for me. Right now, probably because of COVID-19 distribution issues, this is only available from CD Japan. I don't know of any retailers in other countries. So my recommendation is go ahead and pick it up from them. I feel like the price is pretty fair. Go ahead and throw some other items in the box to make the shipping a little bit more worth it. Like I picked up Herbie Hancock's Headhunter, even though I already had it on a previous SACD release. I went in for the 7-inch packaging, and I'll try to send my previous release on to a new home. I feel like Headhunter is definitely worth it. And yeah, you know, as always, like this video if you in fact do, subscribe if you haven't, ring the notification bell if you haven't, leave your comments below. Let me know any interesting information that I left out. Let us know how you feel about Santana III and this new SACD quad release. And coming up shortly, I'm working on a streaming in Atmos FAQ. And until then, I wish you a happy December, and I implore you all, per usual, to live life in surround.